Want to know how smart clothing can make you hot? Yeah. Me too. I think all fabrics are really smart. They protect us from heat, cold, injury, and have done for centuries. But what if we revolutionise textiles? Technology has evolved everything. You've only got to look at the internet and mobile revolution to see how it impacts our daily lives and the way we communicate. Wearable technology is becoming a huge trend. But which wearable have you been wearing all of your life? Is it a bracelet, glasses, jewellery? The answer is, in fact, clothing. The stuff has taken off like crazy. I wanted to jump on the bandwagon, so I invested some money to find and invent some wearable technology of my own. Allow me to demonstrate. If I can have my lovely volunteers. Ricky, could you come to the stage, please? Okay, so I have my lovely friend Ricky here, and he is wearing a Nuka smartwatch. It's so cool. Let me tell you, these smartwatches are so much better than the stupid watches. And the glasses Ricky is wearing? Well, these are actually, in fact, smart glasses. This is where we've put the internet right in front of your face so that you can Google search whilst you're walking into a lamppost. Next, we have Andrew. And we have media as you go. So you can watch all of your favourite movies, and you can also use the screen for advertising as well. And then we have the lovely Romana, and she has a wearable cone necklace, which is also edible. Yummy. A round of applause for my lovely volunteers. So, some of you may have come across my brand, Fit Britches. To give you a brief intro into my brand, Fit Britches is a registered trademark of 8 London, a smart textiles company specialising in high technology fabric solutions which has infused health or beauty benefits. Our garments are clinically proven to help you reduce the appearance of cellulite and lose inches of your waist, hips and thighs in just 30 days. We have received considerable industry recognition for our award-winning products. The products have been widely seen in the press and on British television. You may recognise some of the press there. Celebrities like Jessie J, Kimberly Walsh and Khloe Kardashian have also been spotted wearing Fit Britches. To date, Fit Britches has shipped to over 50 countries worldwide. So, how did I get here? Let me tell you about my smart journey. My journey began after having 4 children. I was struggling to get back into shape, and my mum was my inspiration in the most unorthodox way. When my youngest arrived, I was mortified to learn of another upcoming family wedding. For some reason, my family have a habit of planning them when I'm looking my worst. They're so lucky I still love them. Anyway, I figured my mum would probably drag me to this wedding kicking and screaming, so it's a good time to get back into shape, but I had very little time. I had a eureka moment I started dieting and exercising religiously, only to find weight was actually coming off, but not from the areas I was so desperate to target. So I turned to Google, because apparently Google has all of the answers, and I found there was loads of articles showing a synergy between heat and weight loss. Think about it, when we accumulate body fat, blood circulation becomes worse. Because of a lack of blood circulation, we cannot burn body fat. So this got me thinking. You go to the gym, through physical exercise you raise your core body temperature, and that in turn increases your blood flow, and metabolism, and as a result, over time you end up losing weight. So I had a eureka moment, and I figured that I could mold myself into shape with an element of heat and compression, targeting the unaffected areas, the areas that were going unaffected through diet and exercise. So my first prototype was big undies and cling film. Don't laugh. To cut a long story short, my husband was wondering what is she doing in the bathroom every day. Mr. Singh was wondering why is she buying so much cling film, and I suppose the last straw was when my mum queried why my dress was making so many strange noises. It's a true story, by the way, and you can read all about it in the TNA and the Daily Mail. So I started looking for a discrete solution, only to find it didn't exist. So I set out to create it. I started researching into the unknown, having no background in tech or textiles. It was a bit like discovering America, the land of opportunities. I found it was an untapped area with huge potential. And after lots of research and networking, I found myself experimenting with a technology which enabled me to infuse almost any active ingredient, for example, caffeine, and fragrance, as an example, lavender, by turning it into a solution and embedding it into textiles. So I made some underwear for my husband to neutralise the stink of passing gas, but unfortunately, I couldn't do anything about the noise. Joking aside, I ran some experiments and started talking to retailers and ended up selling a private label development to a retail chain store with 500 stores worldwide. It was a bespoke arrangement where I infused their garments with sea kelp and shea butter to give them moisturising benefits. I also did another product development exercise and presented it to a department store, making clothes hydrophobic. In other words, we coated fabric to make it water and stain resistant. Allow me to show you a demo. So as you can see, Maria is spilling some water on this fabric and it's just literally come off as a lotus Lee effect. The possibilities enabled me to make the end result anything from antibacterial, which may protect us from viruses and infections. Other uses also include flame retardant, odour management, and much more. Through experimenting and optimization, I then found a process I could use to retain the body's own natural heat to increase blood flow, targeting the areas that were going unaffected by diet and exercise, causing fat layers that make up cellulite to break down, ultimately leaving you with smoother and firmer skin. Bingo, you know what came next, fit britches. I developed prototypes for myself and I dropped 3 dress sizes from a size 14 to a current size 8. Thank you. People noticed the transformation. Women inquired about my secret, and accidentally, I created demand. Everybody wanted to know where they could buy a pair. What started off with an assumption led me to making a product which surprisingly worked. So at this point, I figured, unless you look like Victoria Beckham after giving birth, surely every woman must face this predicament at some point in their life. I did further research and looked into women's biggest complaints post-pregnancy, and the things that came up on top were extra weight, loose skin, cellulite, and regaining their silhouette. Digging further into research, statistics showed over 90% of females suffer from cellulite, and according to a survey by Invista, over 93% women surveyed all over the world said they wanted more performance, function, and comfort from their underwear. It was also important for me to have independent clinical endorsement, as I wanted to ensure it was going to make lots of you look hot and reshape you. So the clinical trial consisted of testing 45 women aged between 20 to 60 years old in a blind study. These tests were rigorous. It consisted of evaluation at various intervals. We used a Doppler scan to evaluate the blood flow. We used digital thermal imaging and fringe tests to assess the skin and self-evaluating questionnaires. The results we got back were conclusive. Over 92% increase in blood microcirculation at skin level, 11% improvement in the appearance of cellulite, 16% increase in skin elasticity and collagen. There were also sports benefits. For example, we use seamless knit technology, which means no uncomfortable seams tugging at you, giving you complete freedom as it's designed to feel like second skin. The compression element also suppresses lactic acid, which is what causes your muscles to feel sore after physical exercise. It's also very easy to care for despite all of the technology. Just toss it into your washing machine along with your other clothes and the technology will last for the lifetime of the garment. I believe technology should be easy to use, easy to care for, durable, and we have built the foundation, but now it's time to evolve it. Wearable technology is starting to emerge. We're bringing a new revolution that is going to make us connect with ourselves through our clothes and lead a more healthier and fitter lifestyle. Electronic components have got smaller, cheaper, and easier to integrate into textiles. We're working with revolutionary fibre, functional garments, and mobile innovation, which has opened up ample opportunities by combining technology and textiles. So what happens when you combine electronics and textiles? You're not left with electronics or textiles. It's actually an integration of both, an entirely different ball game. You have to be both an artisan and an electronic engineer at the same time and think in a completely different way. We are heading into a new era in the age of computing, making people really connect with themselves and each other through their skin and clothes. But what does this mean? By combining electronics and clothing, we capture the body's real estate system right at the core, reading various vital signs such as your heart rate, how many calories you've burnt, your temperature. The sensor signals in the garment will be reading this biometric information and picking it up right at the source. But imagine millions of people biostreaming their data as they go about their daily lives through their clothes. The pool of information never existed in the history of mankind, and I believe by extracting information from this intelligence, we'll take wearable and data to a very interesting place. We started with what we're doing, i.e. how many steps we've taken, calories we've burnt. But some of the things I foresee is being able to predict events, such as you need to rest, you will develop a cold, or when your heart reaches a critical level, to set off a trigger that will enable you to connect you to the emergency services. And also, how about encouraging and motivating you? You have strong vital signs today. You can work harder at the gym. We have an aging population and increasing healthcare costs. Remote patient monitoring allows people to keep track of their health, avoiding unnecessary visits to the doctor, and at the same time saving costs. But imagine the impact this can have on the NHS, often under scrutiny for missing targets. This type of technology will become more mainstream. There will come a time when you purchase your garments from Selfridges, John Lewis, Macy's, or wherever you shop, and you will expect your clothes to be a connected device. Just like you buy a car now and you won't even ask if your car comes with a fuel gauge, or if you buy a new smartphone, access to the internet is vital, right? You expect these things as standard today, and the day this will apply to clothing is not that far away. So, connective technology will have an impact in several industries. However, unless these technologies converge with the fashion industry, there is a real danger they will fail to become popularised and remain unaffordable. Let's face it, If something is not fashionable or comfortable, it will probably sit in your wardrobe and gather dust. Recently, sports apparel brand Under Armour bought MapMyFitness for $250 million. A clothing company buys a digital platform. Microsoft are making a mood sensing bra. Google launched glasses. Apple hired 2 very senior people from the fashion industry, the presidents of YSL and Burberry. As you can see, these brands are now adjusting their value propositions, as that's where it's heading, and it's where we want to be, to make the next generation of connective clothing. But I want to do all of this out of Bradford and not Silicon Valley, and let me briefly tell you why. I was born here, I live here, it's the city I love and cherish. We are surrounded by the buoyant textiles heritage Bradford once had. Bradford's currency was wool, exporting to all corners of the world. But I believe through creativity and innovation, Bradford can start producing again and become that producer city. Bradford is also the second largest young diverse population outside of London. And I often get asked, is that a good thing or a bad thing? Let me tell you, it's a great thing. See, the way that I see it is when people come together from different backgrounds, they bring their interests and DNA, and that can only foster creativity and innovation. We're here at the University of Bradford. We have a diverse crowd. But I want to leave you with a challenge. And that challenge is, how can you collaborate to make smart textiles ideas that will improve people's lives? Ultimately, my vision is to reshape the world by providing technology-enabled products that will improve our customers' health and lifestyle. I hope this talk has inspired you tonight. I'm now very curious to seeing some innovation out of Bradford. And, oh, by the way, if you want to be hot, wear Fit Britches. You can find us online, fitbritches.com. We will make you hot, and we will continue to make more high-tech products with you in mind. Look out for our US launch in April next month. And guys, there is also a product development underway for you. Some of you have already placed orders, but don't worry. I already know they're for your better halves. Thank you very much.